Okay, now comes the fun stuff. Now that you've got your website published, now you want to start with the designing. So you should at this point have your pages all set up so that you have your home, your about me, and then your art portfolio page, and then sub pages within that sub sculpture, clay, drawing, printmaking, painting, and photography. And then as you go further along in your years at OPRF, you might be adding other categories and other pages like drawing, metalworking, or graphic design as you take other classes. So you can see here I have all of my pages already set up. So now, how do I edit what's on those pages? So my first page, which we're looking at now, is my home page, and there's a whole bunch of stuff on here that's not filled out yet. First thing to know is that this behind here is called a header. So I've got this set up to have a header on this page. I can change the image of the header by either selecting an image, or I could upload my own image, kind of like the one that's there, but let's just say for fun, if I wanted to change it, I could use one of these default choices that's here, or I could look in my own albums or even in my Google Drive. I'll go ahead and set it to this one just for fun and say select. So you can see there now my background has changed. That's my header. All right. Now, what's on top of my header that you see right here is my logo that I created in what you're going to do in your next project when you're going to create a logo in Canva. So that I added by just going to insert, and I clicked images, and I said upload. And I found my logo that I created here on my web page, or on my desktop is actually where I had it saved. So I'm going to grab that PNG and say open, and it places it here, but I don't want it there. I want it here, right? So let me go ahead and delete this one so that this one's out of the way and you can see what happens. So right now I'm just going to drag it. Boom, drag it right here. And you can see the blue line tells you where you're going to place it. So I want to place it right below my text. And there it is now on top of my header. I can click on it, and then you can see these little anchors that allow you to adjust the size and scale and placement and all that good stuff. Sometimes it goes a little crazy. And you can also see that there's like a grid behind it that is really handy for aligning things. So you can make sure that it's centered, and you can take your text here and adjust this, all kinds of things you can do. So you can delete things, again, like you just saw me do, by clicking on the box, and it gives you this dialogue, text dialog box that also includes a trash can to remove it. Sometimes you do have to be careful. If you click something, you see now how both of these things are selected. At this point, if a trash can comes up at the top, if I was to delete this, it would delete the group. And you can see right there, it says group. So I don't want to delete both things. So you just make sure that you have one or the other selected if that's what you're trying to delete. Other things you can do, I'm going to go back to my pages here, is you want to set up your pages of your portfolio to allow for the amount of images and title and reflection typed spot for your pages. So if I went to my website checklist, I see here that on my home page, I don't really need much except for my initials logo. On my About Me page, though, I do need an image of myself and a paragraph describing myself, and my logo optional. My logo is optional there. And then if I look on these separate pages here, so sculpture, I'm going to need 2 images. I can see that right here. Drawing, I'm going to need 1 image. Painting, 1 image. Printmaking, I'm going to need at least 2 images as the front and the back of the bag. And photography, I'm going to need 3 or more photographed images spots. So I'm going to go through my pages and kind of set them up. So if you look on sculpture and clay here, right now, I have a placeholder for my image, and I have what's called a carousel. So if you look in insert and you scroll down here, it says image carousel. That allows you to scroll through and have images going through. But I can't tell what it's going to do right now because I am in edit mode, and it doesn't let me really kind of navigate this right now. And then I also added a text title and text place to do my description, although that is a little bit off center. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that all the way over there so that it's even for my description. Now, if I want to see what this is going to look like, I can go up here to the top where it says preview, and that allows me to see what this is going to look like once it's published. And now I can navigate with these buttons to see what that image carousel would look like. And I can just X out of that right here. So I'm going to show you, if I wanted to do an image carousel, I would just click this and it asks me for what. So at this point, obviously you don't have any photos. If you want to set this up ahead of time, go ahead and just pick 2 placeholder images that you would want to use for now. And then just say insert and it will place it here on the page for you. All right, I'm going to go back to my pages again and let's go to drawing. So drawing, you're only going to need 1 image and a title and reflection. So here what I did to create this was I used one of these layouts here. Now I could use this layout. So if I pull this over, I'm just going to put it at the top there. That's actually perfect. It's got an image, a title, and a reflection. And if I wanted this image to be bigger, I click on the image itself and pull that bigger, and it's perfect there. Now, if you wanted to do it like what I have down here, where there's just one centered image and the text is centered below it, then you could take what you already have here with this layout and readjust it by just grabbing onto this group of text and pulling it below. And you can see here, so I'll just go ahead and delete this other row. I'm going to delete everything in this entire row by clicking this trash can. It gets everything out of that section. So I'll get rid of all that. All right, so now here you go. I've just pulled this title and reflection spot below, but it's still not very pretty. It's not very centered. So I'm going to bring this over and center it. And I'm going to take this, and I'm actually, can I grab the group? Yeah. And I'm going to spread this out all the way to the edge here. I do have a little glitch. Like it seems to take a little time to catch up. Okay, and then I'll leave that one there. Okay, so now I've got my title and my reflection. And if I wanted to, I even could tell this text to be center aligned or center justified like that, so that it is centered under there and I'm good. I'm going to go to the next page, which is printmaking. Here, same thing, but I need 2 photos. So what did I do? I went to insert and I used this one that says 2 photos on it, and it has 2 places for text and image, which I don't, I'm sorry, text and title, which I don't need. I only need 1 title and 1 text. So guess what I did? Exactly. I pulled this in and I just deleted these 2 so that I only had 1, and then I just dragged the other 2 across the edge, so across the bottom, so that it made up this entire thing. You can put a title at the top if you want to drag in a text box. And then as we go down, I went to photography here. Photography, I also wanted it to be an image carousel because I knew I wanted to have at least 3 images there, and I wanted them to be big. So I pulled them really large, have my title and my text there. And again, you remember you can check it by going into preview. Last but not least, when you are inserting an image, so for example, here about me, it could be an image and your title. But if I wanted to insert here using this image, you just click on it. It asks you what you want to upload or select, and you can select from your, like let's say I select this one and say insert. It will automatically just insert it as a default size. You can adjust that once it's in and pull it wherever you want it to be. But if you want to go ahead that route without using a layout, you're going to need to put a placeholder image in there for now. All right, you can't just open up and put a blank box like this. The only way to get that to show up is if you use one of these layout options. You have collapsible text in here, table of contents. You can create buttons that you can push that will link you to other pages. You can put dividers, placeholders. You even have a place to put YouTube videos, maps, docs, forms, all kinds of cool stuff is able to be put in here. And last but not least, if I go back to my home page here, you can see you have one last option to change your theme. So if I go there, I can see I can change my font styles, I can change my colors, I can change all kinds of different things here right now. So right now, if you scroll down, you see this bottom bar is black because I have this black setup. So I'm going to click custom color here, and I'm going to go ahead and select a light pink because I love that color. And I'm going to pick a font style that is light. And there you go. You can see now it's a totally different vibe because it's got this light pink at the bottom, and it will show up anywhere else if there's anything in that theme. Once you're done, please don't forget to push publish. Ooh, one more thing that's kind of cool. I can also create buttons out of images, just so you know. So for example, on my home page here, if I wanted to have a button here for sculpture, drawing, and painting, I could take this group and I could say, right here, when you click on it again, I click on this image and it says here, you can say link, insert link, and you can link it to a page. It automatically gives you a choice to link it to one of these pages that's here in your menu. So then you say apply. And so now if I say publish, it's going to give me, here's what I used to have. Here's what I have now. I'm going to say publish. And if I go to my live preview and I scroll down to that button, watch what happens if I click on the picture. It takes me right to my sculpture page, which is also pretty cool. So if you wanted to really play with that menu, I want you to still have this menu at the top, but you can do whatever you want with your pages to make it as complex and interesting and personalized as you can. Have fun. Let your teacher know if you have questions, and we can't wait to see what you guys do.